Let's go over the future of Star Wars when it comes to President of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, looking at Solo: A Star Wars Story and how it's been performing at the box office in comparison to other Disney-era Star Wars films, such as The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, and Rogue One, it hasn't been doing all too well on its first, second week, and now we can expect pretty much the same for its third week. Now, looking at the Han Solo film, I will say that I view it as a good movie, not a great film. I do enjoy Rogue One a whole lot more than that. But looking at the future and Kathleen Kennedy, what is to come with Kathleen Kennedy being president of Lucasfilm? What will happen to her after Solo: A Star Wars Story? This is a big subject right now, is that a lot of Star Wars fans want Kathleen Kennedy to go. They want her to be fired from Lucasfilm as president after the box office results for Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now, the thing that I have to say about Kathleen Kennedy is that looking at The Last Jedi and the backlash it received based on many decisions that she approved with director and writer Rian Johnson, etc., I will say that there are a ton of things that I, in fact, did disagree with in The Last Jedi, one of which was how Luke Skywalker was treated as a character, and that honestly had a lot to do with both Kennedy and Rian Johnson. Now, the thing that I do fear moving forward as we approach the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, which is said to begin filming in April of 2019, and Ewan McGregor is now in the early talks of reprising his role as the Jedi Master. The thing that I do fear about Obi-Wan's return is if Kathleen Kennedy will modify that character, or essentially whatever director or writer that she hires, she'll give them the general idea and tone of which should be applied to that character for the Kenobi movie. Now, I will honestly say that's one of my big fears about the Kenobi film, is if Kathleen Kennedy gets into the creative side of things and sort of, kind of changes the character here and there. And the other thing that I do want to go over is that I do believe that Kathleen Kennedy should be replaced as president of Lucasfilm by somebody else. Somebody who's a true fan of Star Wars, who really knows their stuff. I feel like for somebody who's running Star Wars, somebody should really know, down to the core, exactly what Star Wars not only means to them, but to the whole entire fan base, to the big community, right? It's a huge franchise, and I gotta say, I think that it could be treated a whole lot better as of right now. And moving forward, looking at Kathleen Kennedy as president of Lucasfilm, like I say, that is one thing that I do fear, is of course how the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie will be treated in tone and the general idea of it all. What characters will be inserted in that movie, and exactly how Ewan McGregor will actually be instructed, of course, to portray or play the character. That's one of my fears when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. Now, looking at everything else when it comes to the overall franchise, guys, I really do believe that Star Wars would be better off without Kathleen Kennedy. I think that's something that a lot of people out there want to see. The one thing that I really do deeply notice in a lot of these Disney-era Star Wars films, and if you guys agree with me on this or disagree with me on this, this is perfectly fine and okay and all, but I really feel like a lot of these agendas that really are embedded in a lot of these Disney-era Star Wars movies just need to go. And I think this is all coming directly from Kathleen Kennedy, instructing the writers and the directors and everybody that's a part of these movies, the producers, etc., are instructed by Kennedy, because she is the boss of all things Star Wars, just below Bob Iger, who's the head of Disney, which, by the way, he will be leaving in 2021. And that brings us to another discussion here as to what would happen with Kathleen Kennedy once Bob Iger leaves Disney in 2021, in, I believe it's going to be Q3 or Q4 of that year. Would Kathleen Kennedy, perhaps get a promotion and be the successor of Bob Iger? Or the successor to Bob Iger, what would he or she do with Kathleen Kennedy as president of Lucasfilm? Now, like I said, money does talk, and money talks is the big term that we're going to use, because looking at Solo: A Star Wars Story and how the box office has been affected, we now know that Disney is listening to the fans more openly right now. almost immediately, and we can really see how fast they reacted to all of this. And What I want to see come into the future is I just want a fun ride. I want Star Wars movies where they don't have to throw in a lot of these different agendas that I have personally noticed. I've gone over quite a few of them in my past couple of videos. I feel like some of these agendas just really need to go, that either A, interrupt with the story or interrupt with some of the characters. I think it should just be a direct, fun Star Wars story that they should just tell and move along with. So that's how I think Kathleen Kennedy, getting her removed from Lucasfilm, I think that'll only make things for the better, unless, whoever replaces her does the same exact thing. I'm not quite sure. But I don't know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me on this, because I know a lot of you guys do realize the same exact thing that I do, is that yes, there are quite a number of agendas in a lot of these movies, especially in The Last Jedi, and I've even seen quite a number of them with Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now, what do you guys think about Kathleen Kennedy overall? I know that a lot of the fans do in fact agree that it's better off that she leaves, or do you think it's better off that she stays? Drop a comment below, let me know what you think about that, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.